guys, welcome back to the channel for another video. Today we're working on the truck, and I've got some qualified free help today. So far the free help has cost breakfast, snacks, drinks, it doesn't matter. I've got some good help going on. I'll kind of even show you what they're working on. They're just sanding down this fender I picked up off the marketplace. They're just busting the clear coat up, getting it to look like that one, so that it's going to be ready for primer. Working on hopefully finishing the Bondo on the cab today. So like I've shown you before, this looks pretty good here. Just a little bit more work left to do right here, and need to fill this spot in. We got some sanding to do here, a couple spots to just fill in. This looks pretty good. We got to pay some attention to all this down here, and some attention to here, and this side here is getting a lot of attention. This looks really good here, so gonna be excited about putting the door on and seeing what kind of progress we end up with here. So but just gonna be plugging away on this cab, and while we're doing the Bondo work there, I'll also be doing some transmission line and some fuel lines, some brake lines, get the engine harness on and get the harness run down the frame. So get that stuff done, and you know, hopefully we can make that big gigantic step today and make some real good progress. So I will catch you guys up on what we get done here shortly. Alright guys, so I actually want to bring this to your attention because it's something I ran into, and I'm pretty sure it could be my fault, but just in case it's not, this is something you may want to take a look at. So when you order this axle, or this gas tank support cross member redo, whatever, putting the gas tank in, I'm actually hitting this part of the fuel tank against it right here, and it's not allowing the fuel tank to go all the way back, and it's causing a misalignment on the straps, because then it can't rotate level, and then you won't be able to get your bolt back in the hole there. So just kind of something that I noticed I wanted to kind of show. So I'm going to come in here with the grinder. I'm going to cut off a little bit, and which should be plenty to get that off. I also could tell on the front of the gas tank here, with this indention here, that is supposed to sit with this support here. It's supposed to sit right inside of here, and it's up to about right here, so it's not really lining up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut that off and fit this gas tank up in here, and that's one more thing done. Alright guys, so went ahead and got that mounted in. Fits right in here pretty decent. So it's not going to hit the fuel tank and rub it and put a hole in it, which then causes this here to line back up properly. All good to go there, and lines up in this spot here properly. So fuel tank's in, and one more job done. Alright, so I'm moving on to transmission lines. As I was pulling the engine stuff out, I don't know if you guys probably remember or not, but I actually had to cut one of the transmission lines off of the cooler because I couldn't get it to come apart out of the radiator. So it's like, I don't want to feel like dealing with all that, and then end up well, essentially end up having to buy the line or causing more problems later. So I'm gonna undo all these lines here. They're all rusted and coming out of the transmission here. Undo all these, and I actually have a whole new cooler and AN lines. It'll be better just do it that way. And got all the stuff here, and then the cooler's in a box. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to work on now. We're doing a little bit of work over here to the bumper, cleaning it up, and they're still clocking in, cleaning up the bolts, and getting the rust and the threads, getting that all cleaned up. So yeah, we're just plugging away, getting more stuff done. All right, so I went ahead and got those transmission lines all finished up and to the point of where they are for now until I actually go to install the cooler up with the radiator support and everything. So yeah, got them in here, solid. These nice adapters in here from ICT Billet. They worked really, really well, closed that up nice. I ran these down underneath here, run those up basically through the stock location, and I left them short here because if there was ever a time that I needed to have just access to the cooler that's going to be sitting here, then I'll have a union right here that I won't have to go all the way back there to take the lines off to deal with any of that. So just two sections of lines. If I have a problem with one or the other, I don't have to replace the whole line. So got that in. This 6-inch drive shaft splines in just fine and is the right length. This I suspect came out of an Avalanche, but I'm not completely certain. But this was a really good find. I'm really happy about that. So now I'm gonna take a few moments and apply some more Bondo to some stuff, and apply some Bondo over here to the bumper. Still got the brake lines to work on. Try to get that going. You know, just knocking these little jobs out, getting these little things done. They require some time, but it's forward progress is forward progress. So I'll catch you guys back up probably here in a little while. For you guys, it'll be right now. All right, so I got another tech tip for you. I'm kind of a big fan of this one. So when it comes to brake lines, I have pretty good luck. Probably won't, and now that I've said it, but I've gotten pretty good luck getting brake lines out that look like this with flat vice grips. I'll go to the vice grips, straight to the vice grips every single time. And the bigger the pair, I should say, you make sure you have the proper size too, so that when it comes square, it's going to be correct to the faces. But yeah, I put all the bite force down on them and go straight to vice grips, because first off, I don't want to replace this hose. This hose is a $85 hose, and I want to be able to get that fitting out. I would generally like to try to reuse the fitting if I could, if it doesn't get too destroyed, but this one's got to come out and be replaced. So I'm going to stick it on there and see how it turns out. All right, so yeah, it's 100% giving me fits. I'm thinking. See, also you're like, well, have you tried Blaster or anything like that? Well, this has got Pour 15 painted all over it. So if I can't get it to break loose here in a second, then I'll get the wire brush, clean all that stuff off, shoot some down in there, and then see what it looks like. But I think it wants to move. I lied. It don't want to move. All right, guys. So somehow I missed it. Tried to show you something cool and definitely missed it. But the fitting, I mean, we had to put the big pliers on it here and to help support the bracket. But it took a good amount of elbow grease to get it out. But it came out. You can see there's bite marks in it from the vice grips, and where I cleaned it up with the wire wheel allowed the penetrating oil to kind of get in there and just break up a little bit of stuff. But I mean, this fitting is still pretty decent shape. Get this brake line out of it and we can probably just reuse it. So yeah, big fan of that. It came out pretty well. So now I've actually got this one up here, which is going to be a little more difficult to get a hold of because they don't have a bracket to hold it. But I'll gotta get this one out, and there's one on the other side as well. So just get these brake lines done up and get everything plumbed up, and we should be rocking and rolling. All right, so like I said, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult holding this one, and this one is in far worse shape. But I like these here. Using these on this round piece right here is actually going to give me 4 points of contact to bite it down, and it's gonna help hold it a lot better. And not having anything to hold this bracket is definitely going to be an issue, but put all the beans to it and come in here with the flats so that it lands right on the bolt heads like it's supposed to, or not the bolt head but the fitting. I also don't like putting them all the way back here because sometimes the mechanism in the jaw will actually be what's bound up biting it versus the teeth on the actual grippy part. So, and right here, the first time, I want these as tight as I can get it to get this out, and then just like that. There's no way that this is gonna flip out or cause me to have to buy a new line, or even I don't like putting heat on brake lines. That is something I try to avoid at all costs. So much that even when I was a technician, if I had to put heat on the brake line, I would contact the customer to see if I could just buy the brake line, and I would tell them what's going on. Like, I would much rather buy a brake line than have to put heat on something to save it. Also, if you put heat on something, it could melt it, and then, oh, there you go anyway. But just like that, the fitting came out. Looks pretty good. This inside here's got some stuff actually that desperately needs to be cleaned out, but I can get that out of there. And you can see why that copper line, everybody likes it, because man, it really does come down over the cone. There we go. Sorry, not even looking at the camera. comes down over the cone really, really well and helps seal up a bad flare or a lackluster flare. But you can't really reuse them, I don't think, so much. And they're really, really weak, so yeah, you can bend them and like, you know, make your bends like you're supposed to and stuff, but also they can kink really, really easy too. So I just like using the steel. It's harder to work with, but it's just more durable while you're working with it and while you're operating the vehicle. All right, guys, so we went ahead and got a lot of work done. Just kind of like actually preparing for tomorrow, if that makes sense. I've got seeing how things looked so that I knew what to kind of prepare for. Now I got an idea. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Went ahead and shot some primer on these like corners here. So I'm like, just what are we working with? How good is this stuff turning out to be? And for a couple guys that really don't do this at all, I don't think it's looking terrible. Like this spot right here, that's gonna be covered by weather stripping, and I don't care. Same with that spot there, but the primer laid and everything, and Bondo's doing a really, really good job. So that's good. We did stick the panel bond here and there where those places meet, and we worked all through here. Got a lot of work done in here, forming up these cab corners back here because I cut out that big spot. Wouldn't had to have done that as much if I cut it correctly. Remember, that was all my doing. Put panel bond in here and on the back side through there and all in through there. Got it over there, and then I went ahead and just put expanding foam down in these corners. The factory little foam piece that sits inside here to keep rainwater out of the vent and stuff like that. That is kind of together here. It's kind of bent up, and I was afraid it wasn't going to do the job. And then if y'all remember on this side, it caught fire. So I know that's gone. So anyway, just filled that full. I've also done it to here up in the front. And it's, you know, you can kind of see there. And I just didn't get any in there. We kind of ran out. So got fuel tank in, the fuel lines ran. I kind of like the way that the fuel lines run here across the top of the transmission, because the fuel line is actually going to come up to the cab. This one here is just to hold it. Fuel line is going to come up against the cab because that's where the pressure regulator is, and then it goes over to the LSA fuel rails. So what else did we do? Oh, we sanded on the bumper here, getting it squared away, that spot that we had to patch. Getting that all taken care of because this bumper is going to get painted. So we're busting all the chrome off of it. Put some primer here on the bedwork earlier. This does look really good. It's just got a little spot here that needs filled in either by Bondo or that filler primer stuff. And then over here, this looks amazing until you put a light on it. A lot of deep kind of cuts from sanding and being impatient. That's my fault. I did that. So anyway, we got some tasks to do up to tomorrow. Looking at getting these headers done up, cleaned up, get all of the sanding hopefully done for tomorrow, and maybe get the bed liner stuff put on. And what I'm talking about is the bottom, the very bottom of the cab and the body line, and then inside the bed. Just while I got it all out, go ahead and get that done and go from there. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.